I opened my eyes, expecting the familiar ceiling of my bedroom. Instead, I saw ancient jagged stone flickering with the orange glow of torchlight. I sat up, my heart hammering against my ribs. My hands, they weren't mine. They were simple, white 2D lines against cinematic silk sheets. Confusion turned to cold dread as a shadow fell over me. The owner stood tall and indifferent, his posture as sharp as a blade. "Get up," he commanded, his voice devoid of any warmth. "Your first client is already waiting." In King's Landing, time is gold. I was led through the winding corridors of the Red Keep. The walls were masterpieces of masonry, adorned with grotesque gargoyles and heavy tapestries. We passed a common room where others sat. They were just like me, stylized figures, motionless on velvet chairs, their simple faces hollow and broken. The weight of the situation crashed down on me. This wasn't a game or a dream. This was a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. We reached a heavy wooden door. It creaked open into a chamber where the only light came from a few dying candles and the moon. A massive dark silhouette stood by the arched window. The client. He was a mountain of shadow, his presence filling the entire room with fear. He turned slowly, his faint eyes glowing with an unnatural light. I stepped back, my small hand clutching my dress, desperate for an escape. Gaze bled into nights, forming a cycle of despair. I watched the sun crawl across the detailed sky from behind the bars of my window. I walked those dark stairs 1,000 times. Every room was the same cold stone, heavy silence, and the crushing weight of my new reality. Then, I saw the gold. Highly detailed coins were placed on a rough wooden table. For a second, a spark of hope flickered in me. Maybe this was the way out. Maybe I could save enough to buy my freedom. I reached for the gold, my fingers trembling with hope. But the light shifted to a harsh, threatening red. The owner's hand swept the coins away, shattering my illusions in a single motion. I watched as another girl was led away into the darkness, disappearing like she never existed. My face collapsed into a mask of grief. One evening, the routine changed. I was taken to a massive iron gate. Outside, the world was a frozen landscape of snow and fog. A High Lord stood in the center, draped in heavy fur armor. He didn't look back at first, his gaze fixed on the winter horizon. He turned and my breath caught. He had the same simple stickman face as me, but his eyes were a cold, glowing blue. He leaned in, his voice a freezing whisper that cut through the wind. "You aren't the first, and you won't be the last." I looked past him, and the horror of the reality finally dawned on me. This wasn't just a city of sin, it was a city of the dead. Thousands of identical stickmen with those same glowing blue eyes were marching in the distance, a silent, unstoppable army in the frost. The wind began to howl, a sound of pure agony. My screen faded to black, leaving only the memory of those frozen blue eyes.